Welcome to this week's energetic forecast for July 1st to July 7th. My name is Desiree De Lune. Welcome to my channel. I am your acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer, and here to share with you what mix of energies you have available to you this week to play with. I have an overall theme for the week, and it is disciplined dreaming. We got a good mixture of the structure and the focus, as well as connecting into our imagination. So, bringing our dreams down into reality is some of the beautiful advantages that you have for this week. So, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quickly. 1 second. Okay, and I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it better. All right, well, let's get started into all of the details here. So, we had, similar to last week, this combination of Sun over onto the left and Venus and Mercury, all here, those three planets here in the sign of Cancer. Now, Cancer is that very nurturing, motherly sign. And this is still one of those weeks where it will be great to bond and connect with people that are important to us. And there's going to be this desire to take care of, to support, to love on, to just like be very hospitable towards others. And not only that, you want to see that coming back to you. So that's kind of this barometer here. It's not going to be one-sided. You want to connect with the people who also equally love to take care of you, love to nurture you, love to protect you as well. There's so much protective energy that comes through this sign of Cancer. This is where we see a lot of loyalty and making sure that the ones we love are also safe and respected and not being taken advantage of, and vice versa too, that they feel that way about you. So this is just a great season. We're also in the season of summer, well, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere. So this is a great time to be with family and friends that are like family and having those really special moments and having great conversations around that. But there is another aspect to this of the types of conversations that I recommend having. So let's kind of bring in some of the other planets here and how they're interacting with these. If you take a look at Saturn over here, it looks like an H with a line over it. It's the red one. Now, Saturn is a planet about structure, order, discipline, boundaries, responsibilities. It's a very, adulting type of planet. So when we have this Saturn in communication with Venus, and how are they communicating? It's this blue line that has a triangle in there. You'll see that it is trining Venus. Now, when we see these blue lines, they're more positive in nature. So it's going to bring out the, more like ideal qualities of a planet, because every planet is going to have some of their challenges and some of their advantages. But in this situation, this allows us the space to have some more of those difficult conversations, to talk about things that are maybe not so fun to talk about. Maybe someone hurt your feelings and you don't really love like bringing that up. It's not necessarily a fun conversation, but it's a necessary conversation. So what I love about having this present here is that you can have some more real talk. You can, talk about, like uncomfortable topics, and it's going to be well received. So keep that in mind, is that this is that window to have crucial conversations, to have difficult conversations, whether it's, someone that's a coworker, or whether it's, within your family or close friends. Like, it's going to go well, is my point. It's going to go well. So take advantage. If you have any of those kinds of conversations that need to be had, this is a beneficial time for you to do so. Okay. And the reason why is there's also a lot of like objectivity, rather than things getting taken very personally. So that's one of the reasons why we're able to see one another's perspectives and one another's sides rather than getting in super reactive mode. Okay, so another one worth mentioning is we have a Neptune over here, and it is trining Mercury. So remember the blue line trines are really positive aspects. And Neptune has to do with our imagination, our creativity, our ability to connect into other realms and dimensions. I mean, that's, in my opinion, where a lot of our creative energies come from. And it's communicating in a really nice way with Mercury, which Mercury is the planet of communication and self-expression. And it's kind of a recorder. And the way that I see this aspect happening is like if you are feeling creative in any kind of way, you're going to have this open channel. You're going to have this great access to just bring in, your imagination's going to be heightened, but it's not only just, up in here that you're experiencing it. You're going to be able to express it, whether it's through speaking, whether it's through writing, or whether it's through making something physically, or whether it's, painting or anything, maybe making a dream catcher that just came out of nowhere. But my point is that the creative energies are going to flow really nicely between you being able to capture it and then express it and share it in some way, shape, or form. Okay. And then not only that, we have this water sign of Cancer where all these three planets are, and there is so much imagination and creativity in water signs. They just have easy access to that. And so the fact that you have Neptune in a water sign and it's actually in a very ideal position here. It's in its home position here. And then you have Mercury in a water sign. I mean, it's almost like you have quadruple the access to your creative forces and your creative energies, and being able to connect into them and understand them and easily, like with great flow, express that creativity that you have within you. Okay, so let's come back to Moon in Taurus. We talked about last week, and Moon, I'm not Moon, my apologies, Mars, Mars in Taurus. There is Moon in Taurus too, but there's Mars here too. And the reason why I wanted to mention this is because Moon and Mars are conjunct here. They're together. And there's a lot of vitality and energy and like initiative power that comes from Mars. And then in Taurus, which is an earth sign, there is a steadiness that is available. So it's like this steady, consistent energy every day show up. It's predictable. You can depend upon it. And that's why I like Mars and Taurus, even though it's technically not in its best position. But I like the slow burn of energy rather than like just this big poof of fire and then it goes away. And so we have this next to Moon. Just think of Moon also. Moon has so many different significations. One is the physical body. So you might feel with Mars, which has a lot of heat and activity, literally 1 degree away from the moon. They're right next to each other, essentially. And with this, you're going to have this even more vitality because moon can represent the body. You're going to have passion. You're going to have excitement. Not only that, you have like Uranus right next to these two as well. They're not as close together, but it's still, within like 8 degrees. That's a pretty intense influence. So if you take a look at this, this is about 9 degrees, so it's pretty close between Uranus and Mars. And so this brings a lot of excitement and change as well, a lot of energy too, and wanting to transition and evolve and to upgrade. So there's a lot of personal activity going on here. And Moon is our intuition, and Moon does really well in Taurus. It's actually its best position. It's exalted here. So our Moon also represents our intuition as well. So this means intuition is really sky high at the moment. Not only we have all this influence of water, but we have Moon in its most exalted position. So you are going to be dialed in and tuned in, and you're just going to have a lot more energy to work with, what you're connecting into, what you're receiving. And there may be a bit more of like outbursts too, because Mars can bring some rage. It can bring some conflict and tension. And since Moon and Mars are so close, so if you have any kind of explosive anger once in a while, that could absolutely happen on Monday. Just the fact that they are, again, so close together. But there's going to be this fierceness about you and this drive and passion and enthusiasm that really surfaces. And you'll be able to express that very easily with the way that Mercury is situated. Okay, so we talked about that. Let's talk about Moon sextile Saturn. So remember we talked about Saturn being that planet of responsibility. And then we have this blue line. It's a star. I don't know if you can see it right there. It's like a star. And it is connecting Saturn and the moon. And so with this conversation happening, Saturn is going to bring the moon because moon is like our feelings, our emotions, our intuition. It's going to bring some calmness. Remember, we talked about sobering truths with Saturn. So not only are you going to be like passionate and excited, right, and have a lot of energy, but there's also this extra layer of just being tuned into reality and being very objective too. It's not like you're going to be delusional about, what you're interested in. You're going to have this sense of like structure and practicality and being realistic about it as well. So that's why I talked about, this theme of like disciplined dreaming, and you're going to see this more and more. And a lot of the stuff I'm talking about right now are going to be influencing us throughout the week. The moon does move the quickest. The moon moves fast as well as Mercury, so there'll be some changes throughout the week, but a lot of what I'm discussing right now will carry throughout the whole week. Okay. So another one I'd like to point out is the trine between Pluto and Uranus. And this is a very powerful combination. Uranus is about evolution. Okay. Uranus is about like sudden, like breaking out of the old and stepping into a more efficient, more evolved version of ourselves. And it's sudden. It happens quite like unexpectedly many times, and it's very intense, like it's drastic. So Uranus is not just some calm planet here. It is, let's just like pull the rug up underneath you and totally shift and change your life. But then we have then the power of Pluto, which is a dwarf planet, got demoted, but the power of Pluto backing this up. And so Pluto is also about transformation. It is about change. It's the messy, ugly kind, but like a childbirth, for example, it is not always fun, pretty, and easy. It can be very painful and bloody, but then it's necessary, it's important, it's a rite of passage for the mother, and it is bringing a whole new life into the world, this incredible gift that we get. So I feel like childbirth is actually a really good example of the type of transformation that Pluto works with. So you have the power of Pluto, of all of that. with the planet of like evolution all together, mixed together in conversation. And that's why I've been saying so many times that your transitions that you're going through, I mean, they are going through to completion, and they are intense and radical in nature, and very like unexpected and unlike anything you ever planned. I can, like, for me personally, the things I'm going through and changes I'm going through, it's not anything that I could have projected to happen. It's just kind of came up out of nowhere. And here we are just moving into it and stepping into it. So this influence is going to be with us for a long time, as these planets between Pluto and Uranus they don't move fast. So we have this powerful force behind us for our growth and expansion and evolution and transformation. So, how lucky are we to have that? Okay. And then another, oh, I did mention this Mars Uranus is going to be together. So this is only going to get more intense because Mars is that drive and initiating energy and go-getter and ambitious. And then Uranus, as I talked about, is that evolution. So you might feel this speeding up of things changing in your world. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at Tuesday. Okay, we'll see a lot of the same energies, but a little bit of fluctuations. Sorry about that. Need to take a sip. Now, we still have our Sun and Venus here in Cancer, but we're going to see a transition of Mercury here into Leo. So Mercury moves into Leo, and this is a fire sign. Mercury is about communication and self-expression. Now, when we move into Leo here, this is going to have a lot of inspiration, a lot of exuberance, probably wanting a little bit more eyes on you, a little bit more attention, like, look at me, listen to me. Whereas we talked about over here in Cancer, this was very much so like reciprocal. In this situation, you are desiring to be heard and to be seen and to express and to share things that are really important to you. You have very important things to express, and they need to be heard by certain people in your life. So there's a lot more inspiration here. There's exuberance, optimism, a bit more playfulness. So just in your speech and the way that you communicate might just be a bit more like lively and just fun and expressive and even creative and playful. So just know that your communication might be a bit more out there versus when we're in a water sign, it's a little bit more reflective and a little bit calmer, but we're going to have more activity here. Maybe talking a little more than usual may happen as well. Okay, so let's see. Next, I do want to talk about this opposition that's happening between Mercury and Pluto. See, Pluto hasn't moved an inch. It's still right there. But because Mercury moved down, now we have this opposition. You see this red line that goes across, and it's kind of got like this barbell look in the middle. That's opposition. So they are literally, near 180 degrees apart. Like this Mercury's at 0 degrees and Pluto's at 1 degree. So as you can see, they're pretty close in opposition. And so when we're talking about Pluto, Pluto is the underworld. Pluto is the hidden things. Pluto is, the traumas. It's the secrets as well. It's the things um, that don't just easily surface. But when we have Mercury in opposition here, I like the access that we have to the hidden. So you may be able to surface some things, some pains, some hurts, and be able to express them, okay, that you haven't been able to touch before. Because with Mercury in this communication here, it's like it's providing an outlet, like from the deep hidden pain to the throat and the mouth, there is this access now for you to surface and speak that pain that otherwise doesn't have this pathway outwards. So just this would be also a very good time to do some, let's see, any emotional healing type of work, working with a therapist of some kind, whether it's an energy work or talk therapy or anything where you are working and moving through your personal traumas, for example, you'll be able to surface it better when we have this kind of setup. Okay. Now, we still have Moon in Taurus, which is fantastic, but you do notice that between yesterday, so if we take a look at Monday, it was at 15, 16 degrees. 15 degrees here, very close to Mars. Now Moon is at 28 degrees. So it's actually even closer to Uranus. And Uranus brings sudden disruptions, sudden changes. Sometimes they're super inconvenient. So, or even just your moon's your feelings, right? So you may feel like I need a little bit more excitement. I need a little bit more fun. I need a change up. That is one thing Uranus is guaranteed to provide is some change. So if you're wanting to break away from routine and want a little bit more adventure and excitement, that desire may come up on Tuesday. And also, Uranus and Moon together, like there's going to be some really like sudden lightning bolt type intuitive hits that come to you. I mean, it's like electric. It just comes in a moment. And so keep an eye out if anything like that happens. All right. We also have Moon trine Pluto. You see that blue line with a triangle. So this is not only do we have that Mercury and Pluto, like being able to surface the hidden, right? The deep like underworld traumas that we have, but your moon is in conversation with Pluto. And so in this situation, that hidden trauma, you're also going to be able to feel them too. Not only are you going to be able to speak them, but you'll also be able to feel them through because the moon represents our emotions and it's in this really positive conversation with Pluto. So you're not only going to have access to the trauma, you're going to be able to have access to like move it through your body. You're going to add through the sensations and the feelings. For example, you might be able to cry out things that you haven't been able to cry out before. Okay. So feelings and emotions may be more intense as a result. That makes a lot of sense. Your sensitivity is going to be heightened also as a result. And that's all going to be quite normal. Okay. So another thing too, not only that we have Neptune trine the moon. This will be the last thing I mentioned for Tuesday, but Neptune trine the moon. That means like Neptune is our imagination and our creativity, and moon represents our feelings and our physical body. But not only do you have all this, benefit happening with Pluto, where you can access the subconscious essentially. But now you have this creative outlet. You have a verbal outlet from Mercury, but then you have a creative outlet as well, because Neptune is largely about our creativity and our imagination. And it is in great conversation with the moon. And so you're going to be able to move some of this trauma, not only through speaking, feeling, but also through art. So as you can see, like you can do some really profound healing here of things you haven't been able to touch before because of how much there is available to the moon and to Mercury. So yeah, do some deep healing work at this time. Now that is Tuesday. Let's continue on to Wednesday. Now, all right. So we still have the sun, the Venus in Cancer here. So still having those very, very beautiful connections and making time and space to meet with, converse with, share with important people in your life. Mercury is still here in Leo, and it's also still in opposition to Pluto. So and we will definitely continue this Pluto to Uranus as well. So all this change transformation is still quite relevant. We have this moon that moved though, all right? The moon has moved from Taurus and it has now transitioned into Gemini, which is an air sign. And so air sign is very interested in having intellectual conversations. It needs stimulation from ideas. It likes to learn a lot of different things. It's much faster moving. So your moon in Taurus was a bit like, okay, now we're grounding and we're settling in. Let's do some deep inner work, right? It's more reflective in nature when it's in an earth sign. But now that the moon is in an air sign, and in addition, it's quite close to Jupiter. Do you see this four-looking thing? That is Jupiter. Look at Jupiter is 8 degrees and moon is 12 degrees. So they're only like 6 degrees apart from each other. So they're pretty close together. So Jupiter is impacting moon quite a bit. Now, moon, like I said, here in Gemini, it's going to need some intellectual stimulation. It's going to move a little bit faster. It is more in the mind. It is more about logical thinking and analyzing rather than deep feeling like it was with Moon in Taurus prior in the last couple of days. So you're gonna want to bounce from this subject to that subject and just kind of move around a little bit more. And then you have Jupiter that is expands things. So it's only going to heighten this need to like have multiple conversations with all kinds of people and with a variety of topics. So if your interest seems to be bouncing from one thing to the next to the next to the next, like that's because the moon is here in Gemini. And it's only going to be more amplified the fact that we have Jupiter right here next to moon, because Jupiter just amplifies, magnifies whatever it's near. It grows and expands whatever it's near. But Jupiter also provides a lot of like feelings of happiness and luck and positivity and optimism. So amidst all of this bouncing around, like you're gonna feel more joyful. And you have Mercury in a fire sign that feels a little bit more of that inspiration. So might get kind of preachy. It's possible you might get a little preachy here, but sharing of your love and your gratitude and your excitement, your exuberance, it's going to be a bit more just positive and active in nature. Okay, now we do have one thing that might kind of dampen things here on Wednesday. We have this square between Moon and Saturn. And Saturn, in its more difficult representation, is fears and anxieties and being lonely and worrying. So if that comes up, everyone is going to be different, right? Some of us like that Saturn square moon, we might feel more than others. So the potential is here to feel a bit lonely, to feel a little bit isolated, feeling a little bit down. But I will say though, there's so many other positive things happening. My hope is that all like the moon next to Jupiter in Gemini is going to be able to overcome whatever Saturn, the cloud of Saturn might provide and affect the moon with. So let's hope for the best here. But if on Wednesday, if you're feeling a little bit down and out, it's because Saturn here is squaring the moon. Okay, we still have Saturn, Mars, or actually, I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. Saturn has this beautiful sextile to Mars. I say beautiful because I'm a nerd, but remember, the positive side of Saturn is taking care of responsibilities and it's taking care of important matters. And Mars has that drive. It has the willpower and the ambition. And then Saturn, it's like you have a drive to take care of what needs to be taken care of. You have a drive to take care of just hard work that needs to be completed. So it's just going to feel a lot easier here. There's more self-control here. There's more discipline here. So amidst all of these positive feelings that Moon could, provide near Jupiter and Gemini, but at the same time, like you are also not shying away and not running away, not avoiding from yourself from important matters that need your attention too. So we have that benefit as well. Remember, discipline dreaming. That's the theme. So there is this component of discipline and hard work and focus, as well as being connected to our imagination, connect and healing things that haven't been able to be touched before. Okay. Pluto trine Neptune. There's this trine that forms here when they're no, I'm sorry, not trine, it's sextile. It's about 60 degrees apart. And so that transformation that we talked about, the really deep transformation of Pluto, also has this outlet with Neptune, which has to do with our creativity and imagination. So if you do art of any kind, obviously art can come in many, many forms. But one of the things I'm noticing this week is if you are able to use your creativity in whatever shape or form that it comes in, to work on your pains, to work on the wounds that live within us. For me, it's writing. Obviously, I've written 5 books, so writing is my method and strategy. For someone else, it could literally be cleaning, and I'm not exaggerating. Everyone has their own way, shape of a creative expression. So, whatever that is for you, I would really incorporate that this week because I feel like it's going to touch on certain traumas very easily, more so than in other ways. So, take advantage of that. All right, let's go on to Thursday. Now, this is Independence Day, of course, in the United States, so a special day. We don't have too much change. A lot of the things I discussed are pretty similar. Moon is still in Gemini, compared to yesterday. There is a little moon square Neptune that's different, and that is this red line from Moon all the way over to Neptune. You'll see the square right there. Now, Moon square Neptune on the difficult side is that it can bring some like delusions and clouded judgment and just like a veil covering. It impedes our ability to see things. So it's possible that whatever you're picking up that day, maybe you're not seeing it very clearly. It's a little bit clouded, a little nebulous. And so in this time, like I wouldn't take things way too seriously. If you get a strong sense about something this day, kind of put it on the shelf and reevaluate for the future days because, and this is not a long interaction here between the moon and Neptune. I mean, let's just take a look at Friday. Yeah, it already changes. Correct. It already like lessens to on Friday already, and by Saturday it's past. So I'm just saying, just be careful in clouded judgment on here. So maybe not making major decisions on this day would be recommended. Just wait till like the weekend. But take note, if something seems so amazing to you, and it may be, but then you might have the complete opposite reaction in a couple days from Thursday, is my point. Okay, let's see if there's anything. Oh, and just another reiteration of this Saturn and Mars sextile that I just talked about for yesterday, because it's still happening today on this Thursday. This is really great for planning. It's good for planning and execution because Saturn's good with planning for long term. So if you can really it starts yesterday too, but you can really hone in right now in this week on your planning and execution of things. The projects that require a lot of detail, a lot of work, a lot of forethought, a lot of concentration. Yeah, so just know that you're in a good season of taking dreams, other than, okay, remember, no major decisions this day because of that Neptune with the square moon. But overall, like this week, this time, this is a good time to come up with a plan for your dreams and beginning to start working on those dreams. You have all of the sustained, like consistent energy and clarity overall. Okay, you have this consistent energy and clarity overall to execute on those dreams. Okay, so this is why I talked about discipline dreaming, and there's a physical nature. There is a desire for those visions to actually take physical form. There's so much earthy elements here that are being like activated in this season, in this time, for all of those ideas that you have. Okay. I think that is the only thing that really stood out. Let's go on to Friday. So on Friday, look, the moon has jumped all the way here into Cancer. So we're out of Gemini now. And Mercury is still in Leo, but moon is now in Cancer and it's combining with the sun and Venus. So even like those sensations of wanting to be nurturing and caretaking and just making people feel very welcome. That's very kind and compassionate. So if you feel a little bit more kindness and open-heartedness towards humanity and others, like let's say normally you're kind of grumpy, and and distrustful. There's still distrust that can happen with Cancer. It can be absolutely moody, but we're talking about, the people we do trust. You're gonna just feel more warm-hearted towards them and wanting to love on them. Like, for example, my children lately, I have just been like giving them extra hugs and kisses a little more than I normally do, just because of all of the Cancer influence that's been moving in the air. Another thing too that the moon represents is our home. So there may be this desire to focus on beautifying your home. See, the Venus is about beauty and harmony and the arts. So maybe creating a space that feels more peaceful and welcoming, inviting. So there may be a desire to beautify your home, improve your home, upgrade your home, update your home in some way, shape, or form, and just finding those safe spaces, creating more safe spaces for yourself and for the people you care about. So nesting, a desire to kind of nest may expand here too. All right. And imagination too. The moon is a reflection, right? It reflects things. So it reflects light, I mean. And so in here in Cancer, our level of intuition and imagination is also going to heighten. If you might have like psychic abilities that enhance a bit more in where it's located here. So keep that in mind as well. Let me see if we have anything new other than that. Venus trine Uranus is the new thing. Venus and Uranus right here. So here's Venus at 22 degrees and Uranus at 25 degrees. Not trine, my apologies. I keep mixing these up. It's sextile. It's a sextile. So there's a blue line. It's like a star between here and there. And this could be like seeking some excitement with your friends or with your love partner, like not just you going on your own journey, but Venus likes to be with others. And so maybe like it's a good time to go on a trip for the weekend. Go on a trip for the weekend, do a weekend getaway, and have some fun and play. Like Uranus, it likes some change and it likes excitement. So maybe, or go to a brand new restaurant in that evening on a date that you've never been on before is another good way to do it too. Or your arts, like if you are creative in nature, maybe you're going to change the way, maybe you're using different colors for your painting, for example. Or if you write music, like you're going to come up with different notes, combinations, for example. So I'm not a musician, but you're just going to change things up than you normally do in your creative expression. So you might kind of be adventurous and explore something different. So there's some ways that can express. All right, and everything else is pretty much similar what I've said before. Let's take a look at Saturday. Now, Saturday is, oh my goodness, a moon day. This is a moon day. On this day, the moon is talking to so many planets. Do you see all of these lines like coming towards the moon? It's ridiculous. It's like all this concentrated energy coming to the moon. Now, the moon is kind of like a filter for all of the other planets. All the other planets come filtered through the moon, and the moon is the closest thing to Earth. It, like I said, not only does it represent our emotional life, but it's also our physical body. So everything that goes to the moon comes to us. And so it's kind of like a go-between. It's a go-between, it's a messenger. And right now, on Saturday, I would say more likely it's a very positive day, but it's going to be active. It's going to be intense. So let's talk about what Saturday has for us. Now we have Moon. First of all, it's in Cancer, okay? And it is just right next to Venus. Venus is beauty. Okay. It's arts, it's beauty. It's also relationships. So we're going to want to be in beauty. We're going to be a bit more artistic, possibly, but we're also going to want to be in connection and communication and conversation with others and have fun doing so. Now, let's first talk about Moon and sextile Mars right here. So there's a blue line between Moon and this red planet Mars, right? That's the fiery planet. So there could be a lot more vitality, passion, drive, activity, also leadership too. You're gonna want to be the one like taking lead, like directing people, more inclined to just initiate things too. So if you've been slow to initiate with this aspect here, you're gonna want to initiate. You're going to want to take charge. You're going to want to possibly tell people what to do, but in a good way. So there even maybe more access to courage and just being self-reliant and independent. Okay, doesn't mean you have to. Just because you're independent doesn't mean you're not in connection with others. But there's like, wow, I can do this. You just get this sensation of I'm capable and I can do this. So that's a really cool aspect. We also have a trine, which these blue lines, right? Trines and sextiles are really beneficial. We have a trine to Saturn. And with this trine to Saturn, this is that, remember, Saturn is about responsibilities, taking care of things that are hard to do. So not only do you have this like go-getter, ambitious, courageous like energy, you also have the ability to focus and concentrate and work with some semblance of a structure and get things done. Just get things done. Like Mars may be starting stuff, but Saturn is like the completion of stuff. So you have both. It's like you can have your cake and eat it too. We have Moon and sextile Uranus as well, which is that, desire for excitement. So you're going to need some adventure. You want to like break out of the mundane, change things up, desire for new experiences. So that's fun. And then we have Moon trine Neptune. Between the Moon and Neptune, like in conversation like this, and they're both in water signs, oh my goodness, your ability to connect and channel into other worlds, other dimensions, to, like holy energies, like you are going to feel it all. Not only be able to live in this world with the Saturn influence and in so-called reality in this plane of existence, but you're also able to exist in other planes of existence too. So your imagination, creativity, artistic expression is like off the charts because you also have Mercury in this fire sign of Leo, which has to do with creativity and self-expression too. So it's just like multiple indicators of, as an empath, like I got my shit together. I can live in both realms. I can live in both worlds. Can you see my excitement for this day? I am so excited for this day. Okay, and then you have Moon opposite Pluto. Look, remember we talked about Pluto is like the underworld. It's the secret hidden things. It's the traumas that we can't touch and see that easily because it's hidden, right? And with the Moon here, with an opposition here, we're going to be able to surface more. And how amazing is as we surface and unearth like these hidden pains, these old wounds, like it's only gonna support this evolution like between Pluto and Uranus that I talked about, at the beginning of this video. So it's only supporting us. We have Mercury. This is one of the new things. We have Mercury, sextile. I think it's here Uranus. Oh, no, I'm sorry, no, Jupiter. My bad. It's Mercury, sextile Jupiter. So right here, this 4 sign here, and with this like Mercury's communication, Jupiter is very optimistic. So not only do you have this like leadership desire inside of you to take charge, right? And be brave and just go after it, but you also have great trust and hope that everything is going to work out for its greatest good, that it's going to have an outcome that is favorable to you. So that's the thing with Jupiter. It really has this undying faith that everything's going to work out for the best, and that luck is on your side. So now you get to communicate it in that way as well. All right. Let's see. I'm going to see if there's anything else. Venus, trine Neptune, that's a nice one. And I think I mentioned it, but that's that creative expression right here. And also like if you really want to get to know someone right now, like let's say, you have a new person you're wanting to get, grow a relationship with, maybe it's a new friend or a new potential love partner, um, you're going to really be able to sense into them and feel into them at this time. So, this is a good space to really get to know somebody. Maybe going on a trip, for example, like I said, like a weekend getaway sounds fantastic at this time. Okay, so those are the main ones I wanted to point out for Saturday. And then let's take a look at Sunday. So have fun on Saturday. My goodness, do whatever moves you, what makes you happy, because it's going to be a great day. Now, in this day, we have another change for the moon. I mean, we started with moon in Taurus on Monday, then it went into Gemini and then Cancer, and now but for the final day of this week is Leo. Moon is in Leo, and Moon here, it's going to be very positive here. It's going to be very warm. It's a fixed fire sign, so there is some stability as well, but you can have some, strong emotions, of course, but they're going to be very exuberant. When I say strong, it's like it's very exuberant. It's very excited. It's very playful. There's so much playfulness that comes with Leo, a lot of creativity and playfulness. So, and look how close Moon and Mercury are. So, the Moon is our feelings and Mercury is like our mind, to give you an idea. So, we're going to see this merging, this harmonization that happens between how you think and how you feel, and be able to really express and communicate that. And you're going to be captivating. Like people are going to really see you and notice you and pay attention to you. The sun rules Leo, by the way. And if you think about the sun commands attention. You cannot like pretend like the sun doesn't exist. It is there. It is affecting us, whether we like it or not. I mean, obviously, I'm sure we love it, but the point is the sun cannot be ignored. And so, with like here, your feelings and your thoughts, they cannot be ignored, is my point. It's going to be seen, it's going to be felt, it's going to be heard, it's going to be witnessed. So, feel free to just share away. And it's important because people need to see your light. Is my point. So there's going to be a lot more fun, excitement, inspiration happening here. So it's overall, like I said, I really like the energies of this week. All right, let's see. Emotional intelligence is another great expression here of this moon and Mercury together. I'm gonna see if there's anything else worth mentioning. No, I think that's it. That's like the big major change. So I hope you enjoyed the forecast for this week. This was really exhilarating to share with you. I absolutely loved it. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so that you're notified every time we have a new forecast coming up. And if you want to learn more about how to work with these energies in a very practical way, go ahead and check out the link below. I have a link to my Rise and Thrive membership. And this is where I provide blends every month and different workshops to help support you during some of the more challenging, energies that we have to interact with, and also to take advantage of the really exciting positive energies that we have to work with as well. And so that's one of my favorite tools, is using essential oils for corrections and mitigations and enhancements as well. So you are getting the most out of every single day, which means you get the most out of your life, and to be you in your full expression and to activate the gifts inside of you. And as an empath, to live in a way that you feel proud every single day. That's something that's important to me, that I am proud of who I am and what I'm about and what I do, and that I am delivering and sharing the best parts of me with the world, and also for myself to experience the best parts of myself as well. And that is why I do what I do. So thank you so much for your time, and enjoy this fabulous week. Go have some fun, be around cool people, do some creative things, have some difficult conversations when it's necessary, and take the time to work on yourself, because it's much easier to dislodge some of those wounds that have been stuck, buried deep for maybe decades or lifetimes. Like you have this open doorway and access to them in this week. So, all right, love you much and have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next week.